Yes, welcome back. We have a new day. We have a new power on this camcorder. The weather is nice outside. The sun is shining. Heating is off. Let's check again. So I like to read about minivans. Minivan, Chrysler minivan. But that's so much I like to read about. Opel Astra, Opel Zafira, all this Ford Mondeo, but I was just going to read about aircrafts and airports. I'm not going to read about cars the next many weeks. But today we can do it, and we have this Eurovision Song Contest tonight, 9 p.m. So we stop do this after 8 p.m. We have to stop do this. I don't need a shower. Now it's 12:50. So we have like 8 hours. But maybe I not like to do this 8 hours. I don't think so. And my computer keep crashing. But let's read about the minivan. We should call it MPVs, or in Denmark I think they call it SUVs. That's some cars with like 7 seats, minivans. That would be good for travel. I should get a minivan. Or estate wagons, something bigger car, room for a lot of people and stuff.
Minivan. The Chrysler Pacifica, the best-selling minivan in the United States as of 2021. Minivan, sometimes called simply as van, is a car classification for vehicles designed to transport passengers in the rear seating row, S, with reconfigurable seats in 2 or 3 rows. The equivalent classification in Europe is MPV, multipurpose vehicle. 2. In Southeast Asia, the equivalent classification is Asian Utility Vehicle, AUV. Compared with a full-size van, most minivans are based on a passenger car platform and have a lower body. Early models such as the Ford Aerostar and Chevrolet Astro utilized a compact pickup truck platform. 3. 4. Minivans often have a 1-box or 2-box body configuration, a high roof, a flat floor, sliding doors for rear passengers, and high H-point seating. The largest size of minivans is also referred to as large MPV and became popular following the introduction of the 1984 Dodge Caravan and Renault Espace. Typically these have platforms derived from D-segment passenger cars or compact pickups. Since the 1990s, smaller compact MPV and mini MPV sizes of minivans have also become popular. 5. Though predecessors to the minivan date back to the 1930s, the contemporary minivan body style was developed concurrently by several companies in the early 1980s, most notably by Chrysler, producer of the Chrysler minivans, and Renault, the Renault Espace, both first sold for model year 1984. Minivans queued into and eventually overshadowed the traditional market of the station wagon, and grew in global popularity and diversity throughout the 1990s. Since the 2000s, their reception has varied in different parts of the world. In North America, for example, they have been largely eclipsed by crossovers and SUVs, while in Asia they are commonly marketed as luxury vehicles. Etymology. The term minivan originated in both North America and in the United Kingdom in 1959. In the UK, minivan referred to a small van manufactured by Austin, and it was based on the newly introduced mini car. In the US, the term was used in order to differentiate the smaller passenger vehicles from full-size vans, such as the Ford E-Series, Dodge Ram van, and Chevrolet van, which were then simply called vans. 6. The first known use of the term was in 1959-7. But not until the 1980s was it commonly used. Characteristics. Chassis. In contrast to larger vans, most modern minivans /MPVs use a front engine, front-wheel drive layout, while some model lines offer all-wheel drive as an option. Alongside the adoption of the form factor introduced by Chrysler minivans, the configuration allows for less engine intrusion and a lower floor in the passenger portion of 1973 ad displayed with MPC model kit instructions compartment. In line with larger full-size vans, unibody construction has been commonly used. The space frame design of Renault Espace and the General Motors APV minivans being exceptions. Minivans /MPVs are produced on either distinct chassis architecture or share platforms with other types of vehicles such as sedans and crossover SUVs. Body style. Side profile of a Honda Odyssey minivans /MPVs use either a 2-box or a 1-box body design with A, B, C and D pillars. The cabin may be fitted with 2, 3 or 4 rows of seats, with the most common configurations being 2+3+2 or 2+3+3. Compared to other types of passenger vehicles, the body shape of minivans is designed to maximize interior space for both passengers and cargo. It is achieved by lengthening the wheelbase, creating a flatter floor, taller roof, and more upright side profile, but not as prominent as commercial-oriented vans that are boxier in profile. Practicality and comfort for passengers are also enhanced with a larger rear cargo space opening and larger windows. 8. Some minivans /MPVs may use sliding doors while others offer conventional forward-hinged doors. Initially, a feature of the 1982 Nissan Prairie, the 1996 Chrysler minivans introduced a driver-side sliding door. By 2002, all minivans were sold with doors on both sides of the body. Most minivans are configured with a rear liftgate. Few minivans have used panel-style rear doors, for example, cargo versions of the Chevrolet Astro, Ford Aerostar, and the Mercedes-Benz V-Class. Interior. A cutaway Renault Espace V showcasing its relatively flat floor and third-row seat space. Most minivans are designed with a reconfigurable interior to carry the passengers or cargo. The first examples were designed with removable rear seats unlatched from the floor for removal and storage, in line with larger vans. However, users gave poor reception to the design as many seats were heavy and hard to remove. In 1995, the Honda Odyssey was introduced with a third-row seat that folded flat into the floor, which was then adopted by many competitors, including Chrysler that introduced third-row and fold-flat second-row seats in 2005. High-end minivans may include distinguished features such as captain seats or ottoman seats, as opposed to bench seats for the second row. 9. Predecessors. Before the minivan term, the 1936 Stout Scarab is often regarded as the first minivan. 10, 11, 12, 13. The passenger seats in the Scarab were movable and could be configured for the passengers to sit around in the rear of the cabin. Passengers entered and exited the Scarab via a centrally mounted door. The DKW Schnellster manufactured from 1949 until 1962 featured front-wheel drive, a transverse engine, flat floor and multi-configurable seating, all of which would later become characteristics of minivans. 14. In 1950, the Volkswagen Type 2 adapted a bus-shaped body to the chassis of a small passenger car, the Volkswagen Beetle. When Volkswagen introduced a sliding side door to the Type 2 in 1968, it then had prominent features that would later come to define a minivan. Compact length, 3 rows of forward-facing seats, station wagon-style top-hinged tailgate forward/liftgate, sliding side door, passenger car base. 15. The 1969 Fiat Multipla also had many features in common with modern minivans. The Multipla was based on the chassis of the Fiat 600 and had a rear engine and cab forward layout. 16. The early 1960s saw Ford and Chevrolet introduce compact vans for the North American market, the Econoline Club Wagon and Greenbrier respectively. The Ford version was marketed in the Falcon series, the Chevrolet in the Corvair 95 series. The Econoline grew larger in the 1970s, while the Greenbrier was joined by, and later replaced by, the Chevy van. Stout Scarab, 1936-1942. Stout Scarab, 1936-1942. DKW Schnellester, 1949-1962. DKW Schnellester, 1949-1962. Volkswagen Type 2, 1950-1967. Volkswagen Type 2, 1950-1967. Fiat 600 Multipla, 1956-1969. Fiat 600 Multipla, 1956-1969. North America. Minivans developed for the North American market are distinct from most minivan /MPVs marketed in other regions such as Europe and Asia owing to their larger footprint and larger engine. As of 2020, average exterior length for minivans in North America ranged around 200 inches, 5.08 m, while many models uses V6 engines with more than 270 horsepower, 201 kilowatts, 274 PS, mainly to fulfill towing capacity requirements which is demanded by North American customers. 17, 18. In 2021, sales of the segment totaled 310,630 units in the US, 2.1% of the overall car market, and 33,544 in Canada, 2.0% of the overall car market. 19, 20. As of 2022, the passenger-oriented minivan segment consists of the Toyota Sienna, Chrysler Pacifica, Chrysler Voyager, Honda Odyssey, and Kia Carnival. 21. Top 3 bestsellers in the US, 2021. Toyota Sienna, 2020 present. Toyota Sienna, 2020 present. Honda Odyssey, 2018 present. Honda Odyssey, 2018 present. Chrysler Pacifica /Voyager, 2019 present. Chrysler Pacifica /Voyager, 2019 present. History: 1970s and 1980s. 1985 Dodge Caravan. In the late 1970s, Chrysler began a development program to design a small affordable van that looked and handled more like a car. 22. The result of this program was the first American minivans based on the S platform. The 1984 Plymouth Voyager and Dodge Caravan. 23. The S minivans debuted. The minivan design features soft front-wheel drive, a flat floor and a sliding door for rear passengers. 22, 24, 25. The term minivan came into use largely in comparison to full-size vans, at 6 feet tall or lower. 1980s minivans were intended to fit inside a typical garage door opening. 26. In 1984, the New York Times described minivans: the hot cars coming out of Detroit. 27. noting that analysts say the minivan has created an entirely new market, one that may well overshadow the station wagon. 27. In response to the popularity of the Voyager Caravan, General Motors released the 1985 Chevrolet Estrone GMC Safari badge-engineered twins, and Ford released the 1986 Ford Aerostar. These vehicles used a traditional rear-wheel drive layout, unlike the Voyager Caravan. 26. 28. To match the launch of minivans by American manufacturers, Japanese manufacturers introduced the Toyota Town Ace, Nissan Vanette, and Mitsubishi Delica to North America in 1984, 1986, and 1987 respectively. These vehicles were marketed with the generic van and wagon names, for cargo and passenger vans, respectively. 29. 30. In 1989, the Mazda MPV was released as the first Japanese brand minivan developed from the ground up specifically for the North American market. Its larger chassis allowed for the fitment of an optional V6 engine and four-wheel drive. In contrast to the sliding doors of American minivans, a hinged passenger side door was used. A driver side door was added for 1996, as Mazda gradually remarketed the model line as an early crossover SUV. By the end of the 1980s, demand for minivans as family vehicles had largely superseded full-size station wagons in the United States. 31. 1990s. 1998-2000 Toyota Sienna. During the 1990s, the minivan segment underwent several major changes. Many models switched to the front-wheel drive layout used by the Voyager Caravan minivans. For example, Ford replaced the Aerostar with the front-wheel drive Mercury Villager for 1993 and the Ford Windstar for 1995. The models also increased in size, as a result of the extended wheelbase, Grand versions of the Voyager and Caravan, which were launched in 1987. An increase in luxury features and interior equipment was seen in the Eddie Bauer version of the 1988 Ford Aerostar, the 1990 Chrysler Town & Country, and the 1990 Oldsmobile Silhouette. The third-generation Plymouth Voyager, Dodge Caravan, and Chrysler Town & Country released for the 1996 model year were available with an additional sliding door on the driver's side. Following the 1990 discontinuation of the Nissan Vanette into the United States, Nissan also ended the sale of the second-generation Nissan Axx. Nissan re-entered the segment by forming a joint venture with Ford to develop and assemble a minivan which became the Nissan Quest and its Mercury Villager counterpart. Toyota also introduced the Toyota Previa in 1990 to replace the van/wagon in North America. It was designed solely as a passenger vehicle sized to compete with American market minivans. For 1998, the Toyota Sienna became the first Japanese brand minivan assembled in North America, replacing the Toyota Previa in that market. For 1999, Honda introduced a separate version of the Odyssey for North America, with North America receiving a larger vehicle with sliding doors. 2000s and 2010s. 2017 Dodge Grand Caravan. The highest selling year for minivans was in 2000, when 1.4 million units were sold. However, in the following years, sales of minivans began to decrease. In 2013, sales of the segment reached approximately 500,000, one-third of its 2000 peak. 32. Market share of minivans in 2019 reached around 2% after a steady decline from 2004, when the segment recorded above 6% of share. 33. It has been suggested that the falling popularity of minivans is due to the popularity of SUVs and crossovers, and its increasingly undesirable image as a vehicle for older drivers or the soccer mom demographics. 32, 34, 35. Due to the market decline, North American sales of the Volkswagen Eurovan ceased in 2003. Ford exited segment in 2006 when the